Welcome back. Now, if you have a stuttering disorder or you know someone who does, this segment is meant to give you some guidance and the support, knowing there is a place for you to get some help. Kyle Meades, speech pathologist and owner of the Therapy Group of Tucson, has some answers for us. But I know, Kyle, we've kind of covered a lot of different type of things that you guys treat, but let's kind of dive a little bit into really what is stuttering.
Hey, stuttering is a problem with the fluency of speech. A lot of the things that we treat in our clinic, the more common disorders might be problems with speech sound, articulation problems, or language problems where someone might not know the words they want to say, or they might have problems with their actual voice, like have a vocal cord nodule or problems with the actual vocal cords. But stuttering is different. Stuttering is an actual problem with the fluency, the rate, the rhythm, the timing of their speech. So that's what a fluency or a stuttering problem is.
And so I think some people may think this is something only maybe children deal with or only adults. Is this something that can be at any age?
Yeah, you know, we do see a lot of kids who come into our clinic in the early years of life, 2 and 3. We get a lot of calls from parents, hey, my kid has a stuttering problem. Can you fix it? We get a lot of calls from adults too, people who are in large positions here in town, corporate executives, people in the military. We treat a lot of kids and adults with stuttering or fluency disorders, absolutely.
Now, if a parent has a child that does have the stuttering disorder, will they grow out of it, or is it something where they do need to come in and get some help with?
I mean, generally speaking, when we do an evaluation, we look for signs and symptoms of stuttering. And again, stuttering sort of starts out like a repetition or a prolongation or a block of words or phrases or sentences. But the true problem where we see kids who have a fluency disorder is what we call secondary characteristics. That's when someone has a non-speech like an eye twitch, or they'll grasp their hands, or they'll stomp their foot to get out of that block or that prolongation. So that's when you know there's a problem. And generally speaking, if you suspect your child or loved one has a fluency disorder, if it's lasting longer than 6 months, that's when you want to do something about it.
Okay, so now we've kind of come to the conclusion for our specific situation that we do want some treatment. Let me find out what that treatment looks like. Is this something that's weekly, monthly? How often do people normally come in to try to solve that?
Right, first we do an evaluation. We speak to the family. We take a good family history, and a lot of times you'll find during that evaluation that there is a family link, a family history of stuttering, maybe an uncle. A lot of times it runs on the male side of the family, so you'll see an uncle or a grandfather that used to stutter. Once we administer some speech sound disorder assessments, we'll determine the need for treatment if it's needed at that time. And then we do weekly treatments. A lot of times with younger kids, stuttering it takes about a year to kind of get a grasp on that. But when it comes to adults, it's a totally different ball game, because adults have lived with this their entire lives. So it's not just a speech problem. It's not just an actual rate, rhythm, and timing problem. There's other like avoidance behaviors. It's kind of like peeling the layers back on an onion, and the core of that problem is the speech problem. That's all this is just a speech problem. It's not a language delay. It's not a cognitive disorder. And that's why I wanted to come on today and let the public know that, again, this is just a problem of fluency. It's a problem of rate, rhythm, and timing. Yeah, a lot of times with adults it takes longer, but with kids, a lot of times you can take care of it within about a year.
Within about a year. And that's a great piece of information for somebody to know that there is help and there is something we can do about it. But parents might also be thinking, what about the cost of it? Is this something that normally like insurance would cover? Sometimes
insurance, they like to play that game. So we have a very good prior auth department. We have a great billing department in our clinic. We know how to word the evaluations to try to get the insurance companies to pay. If it's not covered, we have very, very affordable cash rates to help people. That way they can get those weekly treatments that they need to help get over the fluency disorder.
And there's no wrong time to come in. I know we were talking about from children all the way to from adults. Any time is a good time to kind of start that process.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we'll get the mom on the phone or the dad on the phone, say, hey, my 2.5-year-old, he's got a stuttering problem. And then when they get into the clinic, it's not really a stuttering problem. It might be a speech disorder or a language disorder or a voice problem. And then if there are some signs and symptoms of stuttering, we can work on that. At the same time, we're working on other problems too. So we can kind of catch two birds with one stone. And then with the adults, we like to see the adults weekly and work not only on the speech, the stuttering, but also kind of getting that person out of their comfort zone and doing things that they normally wouldn't do, because that's where the work is with adults, getting them to work on avoidance behaviors. That's the problem. I had a gentleman one time, he would only order steak dinners in a restaurant because that's all he would say. And one of the first things he ordered when he got done with his treatments, he got him some chicken.
Some chicken.
That's right. He wanted that chicken. Absolutely. That's a big deal.
Expand that vocabulary.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad we're tackling all these different subjects as you guys come on, Kyle. But I'm going to remind then the first step is, of course, to get a hold of you guys and start that process. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Now, if you need a speech and language evaluation, call Therapy Group of Tucson. They're at 232-2021 or log on to supportvoice.com.